I got you into a Remington party. What's my thanks? It's on the hallway carpet. I got paid in puke. Lick it up, baby. I got paid in puke.
Welcome to Paid in Puke, a podcast where three women with names discuss movies about something other than a man. Paid in Puke is hosted by Annie Malone, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. It's also a spoiler-filled free-for-all. You've been warned.
It's Paid in Puke, Series 6, Episode 6. I'm Jessica Baxter.
I'm Annie Malone.
And I'm Christina Barr.
Nailed it.
Yay!
And on today's episode, we're unlocking the mysteries of David Lynch's 2001 surreal drama, Mulholland Drive, starring Naomi Watt and Elena Harring.
I can't believe it. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm in this dream place.
This one comes highly recommended.
Dream place. What are you doing?
Get out of the car. Yeah.
The girl is still missing.
What's wrong? I just don't know who I am. I wonder where you were going. Mulholland Drive. Come on, it'll be just like in the movies. We'll pretend to be someone else. Silencio.
This is all an illusion.
You want to know who you are, don't you?
Where's this going?
Mulholland Drive.
It's been a very strange day.
Getting stranger.
Silencio.
I am personally so very excited to talk about this movie for many reasons. I'm sure I've mentioned before that David Lynch is my favorite director. Also, Annie Malone and I have recently started a Twin Peaks podcast called Really Weird Stuff. So we've
check
been
it out.
really eating and breathing and sleeping David Lynch for a while. And it's kind of one of those things where I feel like the more David Lynch dive you go, the more you want to dive further. Like you just, you can't, it's hard to come back from a deep dive into David Lynch. Anyways, Mulholland Drive tells the story of a bright-eyed young actress named Betty who travels to Hollywood from a small town in Canada in order to break into the movie biz. But she gets caught up in a potentially dangerous mystery when she meets a beautiful amnesiac named Rita. Or...
Oh my goodness. Or that's not at all what this movie is about.
Right. Or is it the story of a dull-eyed, failed actress who puts a hit on her ex-girlfriend for stealing her role and breaking up with her?
Sad. I feel like it is that.
Yeah. Oh my god. So, had y'all seen this before? And if so, did you get it the first time?
I saw it when I was in the theater, so I remembered certain scenes from it, but I didn't totally remember the story, and I just watched it again this week, and I'm still not totally sure I got it, but with David Lynch, I don't always expect to get it. I just really enjoy the ride, I guess, like with such good actors. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I didn't get it, but I really liked it.
His casts are always incredible, and I don't know if it's just because of the way he finds his cast. He doesn't audition. He just has like lunch with people. He's like, I want to meet this person and talk to them, and then at the end of the lunch he knows if he wants to cast them or not.
Oh, interesting.
And that's how he gets a lot of kind of non-actors too, or people who don't do a lot of acting. He's just got such a good sense of how people fit into his movie, and then sometimes he'll be like, you're not right for this part, but I'm gonna write a role for you because I really liked talking to you, and so cool. Anyway, Annie Malone.
Yeah, I saw it when it came out. What year did this come out?
2001.
Oh, okay. The one year that I can't be sure, because I feel like I remember watching it not in the theater, but renting it with my boyfriend at the time, and I don't remember which one it was, and that's like the one year where it could have either been my old one or it could have been my ex-husband, and I don't remember who I watched it with. I watched it twice in this week leading up to it, once with Logan, and the first time I watched it, I felt like, I feel like I get it, or like I'm almost there, and then after I watched it the second time, I was like, all right, I feel like I like 90% get it.
Yeah.
Which is about as much as you can expect, I think.
I feel like 90% is really good David Lynch comprehension, just in general. Because there are things that I think he doesn't really understand. Like, people have asked him about his obsession with electricity, and he's like, I don't know, it's just really mysterious to me. I mean...
It's so charming.
I know.
Yeah.
So I feel like electricity can be explained, right?
Yes,
but
it's mysterious to him
thing.
because he's not an electrician. And I like that he's like, I'm keeping it a mystery because I don't want it ruined for me. Because to him, it's almost magic. And I totally get that, too. If someone said, I need you to fix this light bulb or light fixture or whatever, I'd be like, can't do it, you know? There is a way to do it, but it's a mystery. I like that attitude.
I just love how he can take these mundane situations and make them somehow elevated in a way that's like fascinating, even showing like a fan going or like a, you know, a light flickering or...
In The Return, there's a lot of shots of, like, outlets and how they look like little faces.
It's true. They always look so surprised. Different movies have different kinds of electricity that he's kind of obsessed with. Like, I just watched Lost Highway last night, and that's all about fluorescent lights and the kind of lights that attract moths. There's, like, always moths, like, dying on lights. So it's really buzzy, flickery lights that is like the through line in that movie. This one is lamps, I think. There's just so many lamps.
There's a lot of lamps in this one.
And then, of course, just like blue flashing light, which is also in Lost Highway. He's got themes.
Also, I feel like he likes like tape recorders as a theme, like that. Yeah. He seems so interested in those. Like, we see that so much in Twin Peaks, and then the whole odd thing about the silencio, and this is actually a recording. Like, that's a magical thing.
Yeah.
If we want to hear a clarinet, listen. Un trombone à coulisse. It's all recorded. No! I banda! It is all a tape.
I know, the like, host or the MC of the Silencio Club is like basically a magician.
Yeah, because there's a tape recording.
This is amazing. Right. I mean, it's kind of like David Lynch, right? Like, I'm making this really simple thing seem amazing.
Yeah, and I loved the way that Los Angeles was portrayed in it. Like, Betty's aunt's complex, like, where it's lush gardens inside and, like, it's an old Hollywood kind of feel. Coco, I think she was, like, a famous old Hollywood actress, and... like, there's that golden age of movies kind of feel of Los Angeles. Then you see Adam's house, all the smog behind, like, as the mobsters, like, approaching the guy's house. There's, like, the really smoggy Hollywood Hills home, and then, I don't know, like...
It's like 90s
lush.
Hollywood.
Yeah,
It's like a bunch of triangles glued together with big windows.
Right. Humongous houses in the hills, and, like, you have to go up windy roads to get to, and...
I know, it's so crazy hilly there. You think it's hilly in Seattle, but it just when Rita's walking down the hill after the car accident in the beginning, I love that shot of her disappearing into the bushes and like the brush, I guess, but she's kind of like sinking down because the elevation is so steep. It really makes you think, like, that is a steep hill that she's about to walk down on her heels with a concussion. And I love the way her arms don't move either. Like, she's kind of like doing a little bit of a zombie walk down the hill. I've thought a lot about pretty much every shot in this movie.
Just shut up. Hot Probs is on.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I mean, I guess like my hot prod with this is I feel like sometimes he sort of hides behind the excuse, this is all a dream, that nothing has to make sense, you know? I feel like sometimes there's just weird shit that it's like, what is this? And it's, well, it's a dream, so nothing has to make any sense, you know what I mean?
I don't know if I know. I mean, I know what you are saying, but give me some examples.
I mean, I guess also part of it is some of the stuff that's in there, knowing that this was going to be a series, is sort of not followed up on, like, when Dan Hedaya is in the meeting with Justin, you know, megastar Dan Hedaya, everybody
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it's like the people up above, and one of them is the dwarf. I just thought that was a little bit like, what?
That is, okay, so my interpretation of that is that that's like David Lynch's dig at Hollywood executives and producers who are just in it for the business aspect and don't care about the art at all.
Her name is Camilla Rhodes. The director doesn't want her.
Do you want him replaced?
I know they said. Then
That means we should...
Yes.
shut everything down. Is that something that...
Do you want us to shut everything down? Then we'll shut everything down.
It's like a metaphor for producers who are like in an office somewhere and are so detached from the picture that they don't even leave the room, that they're, you know, they stay in the office and they just make calls with no information other than like, how much money is this going to cost me, or how much money I can make, or, you know, like clandestine reasons, basically.
I definitely took that note, like, the first time when I was halfway through, and, like, after the second time, like, I definitely felt like pretty much everything is in here for a reason, you know, but, I mean, I didn't really have problems with this movie.
Yes.
That was, like, my lukewarm problem. Does he ever, like, sort of hide behind nothing has to make sense because it's all a dream or something, you know?
I mean, I don't know if hiding behind it is the right way to put it, but I'm sure that there are things that he puts in there just because he likes them and he thinks aesthetically they will fit with the narrative. And there are probably things that he ascribes meaning to after the fact, or, I think they're, as an artist, and because he's also like a painter and a sculptor, I think he uses that mindset when he's making movies. Of like, this would look really cool here.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I love him. I mean, I really don't have problems with this movie. The most I can say is sort of like, I can see if you were talking to someone who didn't like David Lynch and they were like, you know, I just think he's really self-indulgent. Like, I couldn't really argue with that. And, like, it either works for you or it doesn't, you know?
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, great. Like, put all the weird stuff you want to put in. Like, it's, it's so good, you know? Do you have any hot props?
I have literally none. I cannot think of a single one, no.
How about you, Ms. Barr?
I really enjoyed it. There are moments where I think David Lynch wants to build suspense, but like sometimes the characters, the spaces, but the silence between, like where Justin Theroux's like, Camilla and I, and then it's like this long pause.
Oh yeah, he is talking very slowly.
Camila and I. Are going to be...
I was just
really
like, just say it. I feel like I've seen that in Twin Peaks too, where there are these like delayed, like maybe it's like a stylistic thing, but I'm like, just say it. I don't know.
I think
like
he's
the
fucking with Diane. That's 100% just trolling Diane, because in that scene, Diane is the ex-girlfriend of his fiance, and they basically invited her there to rub it all in her face.
Oh, well, so I felt like I was being trolled.
That's because, here's why. Because this movie is through Diane's perspective. Every shot that is not of Diane is Diane's perspective. And that's why if it's not a shot of Diane, then the camera's a little shaky.
Oh, that makes more sense then, because then I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I was
mean,
so
imagine,
fucking
like,
annoyed
being
with
at your ex's
that guy.
party
Yeah.
and you're about to find out that she's gonna marry the guy that she dumped you for, and that they basically invited you there to make fun of you.
That's an interesting
Yeah,
way of
Camilla
looking at it,
sucks.
because I was just like,
She is
Not nice, Camilla.
a sliz.
yeah.
She's on the sliz list.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting way of thinking about it then. It was like very effective, like, because I was like, I can't fucking stand waiting for this person to actually say what he's.
You're supposed to hate him.
I love like how his character is so like the stereotype of like the quirky arty director, like it's all in black with his trench coat and his arty glasses.
Yes.
You know, it's really funny.
It is really funny. I feel like Justin Theroux had a blast playing that role. Plus, he's easy on the eyes, as is pretty much everyone in this movie.
Yeah.
It's an attractive cast.
Except for maybe the lady behind the Winkies. She doesn't do anything for me.
Next call.
I love that Billy Ray Cyrus was in it. I just love seeing people that are from out of left field in a movie like that. It's so enjoyable for me. Like,
so out of left field. As the sexy pool boy, Billy Ray Cyrus.
And I like how he's like encouraging him to chill out, kind of like.
Yes.
It's still your wife, no matter what
no
she
matter,
says.
that ain't no way to treat your wife, no matter what she did.
Bastard! You bastard!
He's probably upset, Lorraine.
I know, he's such a chill dude that you almost even get it. Like, she's not chill at all. She's like, I need someone chill, and you are not chill, like her husband.
I can't believe she thought that she was gonna beat up that bodyguard guy, the henchman that came to, like, collect or whatever at Adam's place.
That did
And
seem ill-advised.
it's like, why is she
Why
thinking that
even
she can just jump on this guy? And then, like, there are just these other, like, side characters. One of my favorite scenes is the guy is trying to steal, like, the contact book or whatever, the notebook.
Hey, so that's it, huh? That's Ed's famous black book.
The history of the world. And phone numbers.
And, like, the guy with the long hair and the toothpick. I don't know, I just love that guy for some reason. And they're, like, laughing so hard. And he's like, fucking car accident.
Gee, I hope you're not gonna get into any trouble.
Oh, that was just a thing, man. But that story, that made you laugh, right?
That was a funny story, man.
Fucking car accident.
I loved characters like that and, like, just seeing toothpick acting. I don't know, like, the weird prop.
When she tells Justin Theroux to call the cowboy and how heavily he leans into the cowboy.
That's so like,
I'll give him a yodel. Get along, little dog. It's like every cowboy thing you can think of.
This guy, the cowboy, wants to see you. Jason said he thought it'd be a good idea.
Oh, Jason thought it'd be a good idea for me to go see the cowboy. Well, should I wear my 10-gallon hat and my 6-shooters? Where do I meet this cowboy? I mean, do I have to ride out to the range? Look, just go on and give that cowboy a yodel and get on back to me.
Okay. But you don't know what you're missing.
Just get along, little doggy, and call me back.
That's some of my meaningful passages.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
And then I love how, like, the cowboy takes him down. The cowboy's like, I don't think you're cute at all.
We'll stop for a little second. Think about it. Can you do that for me?
Okay. I'm thinking.
No, you're not thinking. You're too busy being a smart aleck to be thinking. Now I want you to think and stop being a smart aleck. Can you try that for me?
Look, where's this going? What do you want me to do?
There's sometimes a buggy. How many drivers does a buggy have?
One.
So let's just say I'm driving this buggy. And if you fix your attitude, you can ride along with me.
Ugh, I love the cowboys so much. But that's another thing that's like, these are the people who are making decisions in Hollywood. You gotta call him the cowboy. Well, let's see. Does anybody have any questions about how this movie unfolds? Should we just go through it for our listeners, or?
Yeah, we could just go through it. I mean, I have a bunch of notes here with like big question marks. Don't play for real until it gets real. I think I just didn't know what that meant.
Yes! Okay, we can just jump to that scene.
Okay.
I fucking love that scene because that guy is like David Lynch is making fun of a hacky director who doesn't know how to direct actors.
Oh, okay. Right.
But then also I think he's ribbing himself a little bit because sometimes he'll say things like that.
Bob, do you have anything you wish to say? Something to Betty before we begin.
No, it's not a contest. The two of them, with themselves. So, don't play for real until it gets real.
Okay.
Everyone's like, I don't know what you mean by that. Don't make it real until it gets real. I love that whole scene. Diane basically being like, I was the greatest undiscovered actress of all time.
Mm-hmm. I really couldn't figure out like what Justin Theroux's or Adam is his name, what his movie that he was making, like what was this movie?
Some 50s movie.
Story.
Oh, right.
She's supposed to just be like a famous singer.
Oh, I feel
Connie
like
Francis
I did
kind
not
of
put
thing.
that together, that when she says that's how we met, that was Adam's movie that they met on. Okay.
Yes.
I had not put that together.
So that was the movie that they both auditioned for.
Right.
And then Camilla got it.
Because
and
she
so
was
in
the
her
girl.
in her fantasy it's because these like executives in a box
Something
wanted
that
her
was
to be
totally out of anybody's hands.
Yes, exactly. It's funny that she doesn't blame Adam, even though he obviously was like hitting on her pretty
Right.
hard. I love the scene in the Winkies with Patrick Fischler. That's just such a scary scene. It's so creepy.
So you had a dream about this place?
It's the second one I've had. But they're both the same. They start out that I'm in here, but it's not day or night. It's kind of half night, you know? But it looks just like this, except for the light. And I'm scared like I can't tell you. Of all people, you're standing right over there. And you're scared. I get even more frightened when I see how afraid you are, and then I realize what it is. There's a man in back of this place. He's the one who's doing it.
You really feel the dread of both of those characters.
I love that guy. I mean, and he's so scared to walk to the back. But like his friend is trying to like. Is that his therapist or his friend? Or I don't. I didn't know who that guy was.
It's a guy he knows. I mean, they're all part of Diane's dream, but within the dream, their relationship is like, I had a dream and you were in it, and this dream has been haunting me ever since. So I needed you to meet me for lunch so that we can work through this. And then it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
I love that his friend is like, Dave, are you okay? And Dave is like, so not okay. And
Right.
That's the thing you like.
I know.
Are you okay?
Just some water. I really like, although it's like then it gets sad, but like I like how in her dream, like how Betty is just like so bright-eyed and so optimistic and going to become a big star.
Well, it's time to say goodbye, Betty. It's been so nice traveling with you.
Thank you, Irene. I was so excited, nervous. It's sure great to have you to talk to.
Remember, I'll be watching for you on the big screen.
Okay, Irene. Won't that be the day?
Good luck, Betty dear. Take care of yourself and be careful.
I will. Thanks again.
Betty, it was so nice meeting you. All the luck in the world.
Thank you.
It's such a bummer when she wakes up.
And she's not that at all, yeah. No. She's a sad lady.
Right.
Yeah.
How disillusioned she's become.
And like those old people she met on the plane, they come back in the end.
Right, like
I
who
love...
are those people for real? Are they real at all?
I think they are people that she met when she came to LA for the first time. The opening kind of is a flashback in a way. Mm-hmm. The opening credits are like the flashback to the Jitterbug contest that she won. and her arriving in LA all happy and meeting these like two old people who were like, good luck, we'll look for you on the silver screen, and then how like shitty everything got after that.
Yeah.
Right.
How it did not go well.
He had such high hopes.
Yeah. The disappointment maybe at the end when they are attacking her. She's failed herself and she's failed these like random old people.
So who is the dead woman in the bed supposed to be?
It's her.
That's her.
Yeah.
Is she really died?
She dies at the end.
Yeah,
The last
yeah.
thing that happens in the movie is that she kills herself.
Okay.
She dreams that she's dead and then wakes up and
Oh. Wow.
I mean, that's why she's somebody else in her dream, too. She's Betty because Diane is fucked up and about to kill herself.
Wow.
Yeah, she just swapped names with the waitress.
And so there was no car accident with Diane. Diane just happened to get out of the limo and take her to the...
no car accident.
Okay. And they just went up to the house a different
She
way.
meets her. It's all part of the like trolling thing. She like meets her there as like, oh, it's a surprise, a special surprise. I wanted to meet you and get you all excited.
Shortcut. Come on, sweetheart. It's beautiful. A secret.
And surprise, I'm like
wow.
stepping on your heart, crushing it. Yeah. And she invites like another ex to that party.
Right.
The girl who in the dream is Camilla Rhodes.
Yeah, and she like kisses her.
Yeah.
A very friendly ex.
Mm-hmm.
Good terms with that ex.
Yeah, they kissed and then they looked at her.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow.
Which again, it's her
That's-
perspective, so maybe it wasn't quite so pointed, but that's
Right.
just how it felt to her. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I felt watching it. I was
Yeah.
like, jeez.
I marvel at how, in her perspective, we are. It's like literally POV camera, but also subtly POV, even when we're seeing her. Because you really understand her and feel all the things she's feeling.
And
Does that
then
make sense?
the silencio, the woman who says silencio in the end. Is that just like another, like going back to the dream? And did that
Yeah.
theater exist?
I don't think so.
That was
just
such.
part of her dream. That was like,
I love that.
that was kind of her reality creeping in a little bit. This is all an illusion, right? And she's like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear that.
So
Like,
much of it is just about being disillusioned with like her life and with Hollywood.
That was such an effective scene. The Roy Orbison crying in Spanish
I
and
really
like
that.
So
they're
beautiful.
both just like weeping, and I loved that scene.
I really like that
yeah.
scene a lot.
Que he estado llorando por tu amor, llorando por tu amor, luego de tu adiós, sentí todo mi dolor, sola y llorando.
I also really like, even though it's so uncomfortable, like the scene when she auditions with the guy.
Yeah.
I want to play this really tight. you
Yeah,
know?
really close.
Just tell me where it hurts, baby.
What?
Hey, Bobby, I want to play this one nice and close, like we did with that other girl. What's her name? The one with the black hair. It felt kind of good. What do you think?
That's good, Woody. Just don't rush that line again. I told you, the line where you say, before what?
Bobby, acting is reacting. I just play off them. They all say, they're going to arrest you, like that, and then they'll put you in jail. They all say it the same way, so when they say it, I just react. What's your name?
Betty.
Yeah, Betty. Look, you don't rush it. I don't rush it. Okay? Now, we're going to play this nice and close, just like in the movies, okay? Dad's best friend goes to work.
It's like so funny in a way, like how you saw her rehearsing it first with Rita, and
And it
then,
was
like,
not that good. Yeah.
You're still here? I came back. I thought that's what you wanted. Nobody wants you here. Really? My parents are right upstairs. They think you've left. So, surprise. I can call them. I can call my dad. But you won't. If you're trying to blackmail me, It's not gonna work. You're playing a dangerous game here.
You know what I want. It's not that difficult.
Get out. Get out before I call my dad. He trusts you. You're his best friend. This will be the end of everything.
I think it's really funny when she does kiss him and she's got like pretend like with the knife.
You're playing a dangerous game here. If you're trying to blackmail me, it's not gonna work.
You know what I want. It's not that difficult.
Get out. Get out before I call my dad. He trusts you. You're his best friend. This will be the end of everything.
I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
She grabs his hand and puts it on her ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy's so creepy. She's amazing.
She's
God,
so
Naomi
good.
Watts is such
She
a
is
talented
amazing.
actress.
Right. It's like poignant to me, like how in the dream it's like, okay, I came to Hollywood so starry-eyed, and then I found that it was like this seamy, corrupt underbelly, but I sort of took charge and owned it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what's happening in that scene is like, oh, gross, this isn't going how I thought it would, but I'm going to take charge of
I'm
it.
gonna
and
roll
not-
with it. Yeah.
I feel like more than roll
More than-
with
yeah,
it,
you're
you
right.
know? I think the guy is very thrown by her. I mean, you know, like, I think he was expecting to sort of, like, be making her uncomfortable.
And then like she gets
She
out
sort
of the
flips his script on her.
she gets out of the room and like the other talent casting agents are like, "Oh yeah, that guy's a total joke. We're going to take you across the street and
Yes.
don't worry about it. That's never going to get made." And she's just put her fucking heart and soul into the scene and it's just like, "Don't worry about that shit. It's garbage. We're going to go across the street." And,
Right,
you know,
and
like
then she goes across the street, and then it's like you can tell Justin Theroux would love to cast her in his movie, but he can't. It does feel like also like she's saying like any of my failures in Hollywood are because of behind the scenes stuff that I had no control over. You know, like
Right.
I
Yeah.
killed this audition, but that thing was never going to get made.
Yeah.
Or the director knew I was the perfect one for this part, but it was out of his hands.
Yes, absolutely. And also when she's rehearsing with Rita, I love it's like a low-key burn on... well, I was going to say it's a low-key burn on Rita, like on Camilla in real life, that like Rita is really terrible.
so
Like
bad.
she's reading like producer or somebody who's reading the sides with you.
What about you? What will your dad think about you?
Stop! Just stop it! That's what you said from the beginning!
Like she's the worst actress. And she's the one who got the part.
Yeah.
And then I do love how Betty is fine but not that good when she's practicing at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's just such a great testament to Naomi Watts in general, where she's like, I can pretend to be mediocre actress, I can pretend to be a fucking phenomenal actress, I can pretend to be two different people, like, oh my god.
Yeah, she's so good.
And a fun fact about Naomi Watts is that she was about ready to quit acting when she got cast in this. Like, she was literally leaving Hollywood, and then she's like, I'll go on this lunch with David, and got cast, and it changed her whole life.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Such a crappy business. I love movies, but like the whole business of it is just really fucking hard.
It's like, obviously, hyperbole, but it's not far off from
Yeah.
the way that David portrays it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not literally, like, creepy dudes in rooms, but
I mean,
there are a
it's
lot
not
of creepy
not
dudes
that, I
in
don't
rooms.
think.
Yeah, like the guy has like mafia funded movie, like that's realistic to me.
Yeah.
Getting like funding from
And it's
crazy
based entirely
corner.
on, like, how good the espresso is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it really felt like if they'd brought him something he liked, he would have let them cast whoever he wanted or something. You know, there was like so much writing on that.
Right.
That espresso.
That came highly recommended.
Yes.
I was living out in LA for a little while after college, and I went out with this guy who worked for William Morris, and it just like was so crushing to hear him talk about movies. And he's like, yeah, this is just kind of like a used car dealership. It really like shattered my illusions pretty much, because there's a lot of that going on.
Well, I don't know. Let's talk about the dream part because it's so fun. There's just so many fun details in the whole beginning, where I just love how, like, Rita keeps falling asleep under tables and in bushes. And, like, she's got a concussion, but she falls asleep so many times.
Yeah.
And then Betty's even like, you should not sleep if you have a concussion. She's like, no, it's fine. I'm good. And she just does go to sleep. I think it's really funny how chill Betty is when she finds a naked strange lady in her shower.
Right, yeah. She's just like, oh, sorry.
Very chill about it.
Yeah.
Oh my, I'm sorry. My Aunt Ruth didn't tell me someone was going to be here. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm Ruth's niece. My name's Betty. I'm sure she told you I was coming.
There was an accident. I came here.
I understand. I saw the dress. I'm sorry. Are you all right? What happened?
A car accident.
Oh. Are you okay?
I think so. I was just taking a shower.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'll let you get back to that. I'm gonna get unpacked.
And when she's talking to her aunt about it on the phone, she's like, I got such a surprise from your friend.
And then her lie later, like, I kept saying it was my friend Rita, but she just kept saying she doesn't know any Rita.
It's just for a night or two, until she finds her own place. I tried to explain that to Aunt Ruth, but the connection was bad and her plane was leaving, and she got it all mixed up. I kept telling her that it was my friend Rita, and she kept saying she didn't know any Ritas.
She's such a funny, like, sleuthy, like, Nancy Drew type.
I know, they're so excited to, like, be girl detectives.
I love how wholesome she is.
Yeah.
She's just so, like,
her, like,
bright-eyed, you know?
and,
Yeah, the cardigans, and she's just like, let's
Her hair's,
just
like, so perfect.
find out who you are, you know?
Yeah.
Look in your, you know, and she really wants to help her, you know? She's such a good character.
Mulholland Drive. That's where I was going. Mulholland Drive.
Maybe that's where the accident was. There must be a police report we could call. No, we could call anonymously from a payphone just to see if there was an accident. Come on, it'll be just like in the movies. We'll pretend to be someone else.
Like, the fantasy of Rita, you know, when Rita's Camilla, she doesn't need anything from Betty Diane. But when she's Rita, she does. She's like, I'm completely helpless.
Right.
I've never been with any women other than you, as far as I know.
That's right. It's just like, I don't know.
Have you ever done this before? I don't know. Have you? I want to with you.
I feel like that's just like, she's like, remember how I don't remember anything?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what I've done. Who can't give our sex history here?
Yeah.
I wonder how much significance there is to her naming her after Rita Hayworth.
Well, there's a poster of Rita in Rita's apartment, but Diane's consciousness.
Yeah, or just David Lynch, because, you know, we're noticing in Twin Peaks how much he loves to reference noirs. And
Yeah.
I never saw Gilda, but I read a biography of Rita Hayworth, and she had, like, such a sad life.
Yeah.
Right?
She had mental health
She was, like,
problems,
sexually abused
right?
as a child, and it's a lot about, like, almost being, like, sort of pimped out in Hollywood. It was a really, really sad biography, and then she got, like, early Alzheimer's, like, in her 40s or something. Like, it was,
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, she had a real, yeah.
Shit.
It was really sad.
I mean, I'm sure there's something to that.
Yeah.
There's, like, a literal recreated shot from Sunset Boulevard. Like, when she's approaching the studio for her audition, there's a shot in that's the same shot as in Sunset Boulevard. It just looks a little different because it's
He loves Sunset
in the
Boulevard.
It's his favorite movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, yeah.
I know, it's funny to think about, like, what David Lynch's favorite movies are. I had a couple fun facts. One fun fact is that the recording of Rebecca Del Rio, who's the singer at Club Silencio, singing Llorando, when she first met with David, she sang that for him in his office, and he recorded it, and that was the recording.
Wow. Oh my
Wow.
God. Isn't that fucking cool?
That's so cool.
Nicole Kidman was the one who convinced Naomi Watt to stay in LA until after Mulholland Drive is released.
Aw, good job, Nicole.
Oh yeah, they're friends from a long time ago, right?
Fellow Aussies. And there was something about Mr. Roke, who's played by Michael J. Anderson.
Oh
from
yeah,
Twin
is he
Peaks.
named for the character from Fantasy Island? Is it Mr.
I don't know,
Rourke?
but probably. He's got an uncanny appearance in his scene because they gave him oversized arms and legs.
I know.
Did you notice that?
Well, I noticed. I'm like, wait, that's the dwarf guy, but he sort of looks like he's not.
I think that's fun.
that is fun. Oh, I do want to talk about the crazy scene with the hitman where it goes so wrong.
Yes.
It's so funny.
It is very funny.
But also that's in her dream.
We were talking earlier, we had
Yeah.
little different interpretations about
Right.
it, which I really liked. Yeah, I thought it was her imagining that he's a really inept hitman. She was wanting to think that he didn't maybe successfully kill Camilla, but...
So what I thought was because he was very inept, I would agree
Yes.
there. But the one thing he did get immediately was he killed the person that he was there to kill. He unequivocally did that. And then it was all the aftermath that there was so much more damage and other people killed after it. That's what I thought was going on in her mind. Did I set off a chain of events?
She was feeling so guilty about having her girlfriend whacked that she was like, oh, also he's killing other people because of me.
Right, what other lives are destroyed because of this?
Aw.
I mean, you should feel bad.
Yes, right. I know.
I mean, I'm not all angry.
She should not have done that.
This is my bad situation.
But I do wish she wasn't so sad. Oh,
I really like her sad masturbating.
Oh my god, I know. That is amazing.
It's really good.
That's probably the first time I've seen a woman masturbating scene in a movie.
One that stands out for me, but is so bad, is in Single White Female. That's one of the things you're supposed to do. Oh, she's crazy!
She's masturbating.
She opens the door, it's
I forgot about that.
I mean, I remember because I feel like it's one of the only times I remember female masturbation being represented in a movie in any way.
Yeah.
That and Parenthood, which is half the point of the movie Parenthood,
they're
is that
sex
masturbation is
crazed.
only for men.
Right.
They really want you to know that in that movie. It's
that
really
movie.
weird why it's so important in that movie. That masturbation for boys, not for ladies. If you're a woman who masturbates, that means you are a sad lady who drives men away and cannot get a man. But
I wonder
if you're a man who masturbates, that's just what little dudes do. That's just what dudes
Right,
do. Literally a line
that's
in the
literally
movie.
what Keanu
Yes.
Reeves says.
I mean, the movie could not make it any clearer. Where they stand on masturbation. I don't know why.
The cowboy, he's David Lynch's friend named Monty Montgomery. Not an actor, but...
What?
And he couldn't remember his lines,
Aw.
so Justin Theroux was holding up boards for him to read
Oh, that's
off
so
camera.
cute. I like that.
I know. And then the limo at the end of the movie's license, well, I guess it's at the beginning too, but the limo's license plate is Larry David's license plate from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's weird. Is it personalized in some way?
No, it's 2GAT123. Okay, I think that's all my fun facts. I like Robert Forster for 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
The boys found this on the floor in the back of the caddy.
Yeah, sure.
Could be unrelated.
Could be. Any of those dead kids wearing pearl earrings?
No. Could be someone's missing, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The other day is the both of them. They're in the opening credits, and it's God, they're barely in this movie.
Well, you gotta put them in the opening credits if you have them in your movie.
I've already started underlining meaningful passages in her copy of Moby Dick, if you know what I mean.
What I find is this one comes highly recommended.
This is really fun.
May I offer you gentlemen anything?
Espresso.
I think you're going to enjoy your espresso this time. I've done quite a bit of research, knowing how hard you are to please. This one comes highly recommended.
My husband and I say espresso like that all the time, and it's...
You sure do.
Specifically a reference to that. We think it's very funny. I don't know why. It just really cracks us up, that whole thing. And it's Angela Badalamenti. I don't know if we said that before.
I didn't know that. You told me that, but I would never know that.
Who is?
It's the composer of like all David Lynch stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, that's really cool.
So that's a fun fact, I guess.
I like it's strange to be calling yourself. Maybe it's not me.
It's strange to be calling yourself. Maybe it's not me.
Hello, it's me. Leave a message.
It's not my voice. But I know her.
It doesn't sound like me, but she sounds familiar.
And I just also really like the way when the hitman accidentally shoots through the wall and he's like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Such an underreaction to what's about to happen.
That gives me the impression that, like, this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I told myself I wasn't gonna shoot innocent bystanders at my next case, but here I am doing it again, and I gotta clean it all up. I know he's really bumbling there with the vacuum.
Right.
And he shoots the vacuum instead of just
I know. Why
turning
does he
it off
do
or
that?
So reckless.
Hey, man, hey! Hey, she's hurt real bad. Could you come here and call on the phone, please? I need you. She's hurt real bad. I'm serious. You gotta come in here and call a hospital. Come on, man. I'm serious about this. I can't do everything by myself, man.
Well, I hope she didn't pay you too much to murder her girlfriend.
Well, not nearly as much money as she dreams about her. having,
Yeah,
you know.
that's true.
She only has like one little packet of bills in there.
Yeah, it's so much money.
I also think it's funny in that scene when she's giving him the money and when she gives him the head, he's like, "Don't give that to me here." She's like, it's a headshot. Like,
Yeah.
This is the girl.
Don't show me this fucking thing here.
It's just an actress's photo resume. Everybody's got one.
That's not an unusual thing in LA.
Yeah. He's probably upset Lorraine. I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. I liked Adam, and he's talking with, I guess, his assistant on the phone, and she's like, "You're broke," and he's like, "I'm not broke," and she's like, "I know, but you're broke."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just like the back and forth with her, I thought was really fun. Yeah.
Even though it's a dream rapport. Like, I bet in real life he's actually really shitty to his assistant.
Yeah.
Someone maybe shut off my money.
I know. Where are you, Adam?
Sorry, what do you mean you know?
Somebody called. When they couldn't get you, they told me you were as good as broke. I didn't believe them, so I made a few calls.
And?
You're broke.
Yeah, but I'm not broke.
I know, but you're broke. You know, you could stay at my place if you wanted.
Cynthia, no, I don't think that'd be a good idea.
I was just offering a place to stay.
Yes, and I appreciate the offer, Cynthia. I'll find a place.
Yeah, it's funny that she dreams that he's nice to his assistant. Like, he's just the kind of nice director who would want to cast me and be nice to his assistant. I think he must really have been cheated on, and that's why she has that whole fantasy of, like, how that happened. Because he does mention at the pool party.
So I got the pool, and she got the pool man. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to buy that judge a Rolls Royce.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the cowboy talk. Yeah. You already mentioned the line about the yodel, but then when he goes, "You get along, little doggy, and call me back." I like that.
He really liked that cowboy thing. And I do like the cowboy. It's very ominous when he says, "You'll see me 2 more times if you do bad."
Mm-hmm.
Now you will see me 1 more time if you do good. You'll see me 2 more times if you do bad.
And then she sees him 2 more times. Like, we see him 2 more times in the movie because she did bad.
She did bad.
Yeah. We see him telling her to wake up.
Hey, pretty girl. Time to wake up.
And then she sees him at the party.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is, like, why he ends up in the dream is because she just saw this guy at a party in the cowboy outfit and, like, dreamed up this whole idea about who he is.
Right, just like how in real life, like, she saw that guy, what's his name?
Patrick Fischler,
Yeah, she saw him in the diner.
Yeah.
And so then in his dream, he saw his friend in that spot where he was.
Yeah.
I liked the cowboy meeting in the corral where the cowboy is kind of like giving him a thought exercise of like, now what do you think about that? Or, you know, like a man's, I don't even remember. It was like something like...
Man's attitude goes so
yes.
toward determining how his life will be.
And then Adam's like trying to convince him,
yeah.
No, I know what you're saying. I really loved that.
Yeah, totally. Did you just say that because you thought it's what I wanted to hear?
Yes.
I really believe it. What I say. And there's like, there's sometimes a buggy. There's like slow roll on that one. Like, how many drivers does a buggy have? And then he waits for him to answer. I like how his questions seem rhetorical, but they aren't.
Right, yeah. That was
cowboy metaphors.
Yeah, the cowboy metaphors. And I liked Coco. You're a good kid, but what you're telling me is a load of horse pucky.
Coco, she's very nice.
Honey, you're a good kid, but what you're telling me is a load of horse pucky.
Never heard that term, horse pucky, before.
Pucky. Is that just like poop, or?
I guess so.
Does it work for poop?
What else does a suicide need, huh? Now, if you'll excuse me.
Well, we can go through David Lynch's 10 clues to understanding Mulholland Drive. I think that's a fun thing. This is something he like released at the time. So I saw this movie 3 times in the theater with my friend Faye and Jacob. And the first time we just took it all in and like had the most fun conversation afterwards talking about it. And then the next time we saw it, we're like, okay, now we almost get it, but we have to see it one more time. And then in between the second and third time, we saw like, and this was old school internet. Jacob was the one who found it because he was the one who knew how to use the internet back then. It was on some kind of Reddit-ish type thing. So here are the 10 clues.
1.
Pay particular attention in the beginning of the film. At least 2 clues are revealed before the credits.
Now, before the credits is just the, like, dancing.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
So I think one of them is just the jitterbug contest. So the clue being, like, that really happened. And that she mentions it at the dinner party later.
I always wanted to come here. I won this jitterbug contest. That sort of led to acting. You know, wanting to act.
And then you hear somebody like snorting cocaine and falling into a pillow. And that's her going to sleep. Okay. And then you see the green blanket and red pillow that are from her bedroom.
2.
Notice the appearances of the red lampshade.
Oh no, I never noticed it, I don't think.
So there's a red lampshade in her apartment when she's getting the call from Camilla to go to the party.
Oh, okay. In reality.
That phone table, yeah. And that phone table in her dream, when they're doing that like chain of phones, that's like the last phone that rings but no one answers it. And it's her phone. We don't find out it's her phone until later. But it's like when they're saying the girl is still missing. Who's the missing girl? And it's her because she's dead. There's also the red lampshade in Ruth's apartment.
Oh, okay.
In her bedroom. But it's like her same lamp from her real life, but it's in that bedroom. Okay.
David Lynch, these are not helpful clues, to be quite honest with you. I feel like it doesn't care if we understand this movie.
3.
Can you hear the title of the film that Adam Kesher is auditioning actresses for? Is it mentioned again?
Is it the Sylvia North
It's
story?
the Sylvia North story.
But I don't feel like I hear it other than at the party.
It's when she's brought across the street.
Oh.
That's the movie. And
Okay.
it's the one
but
they're talking about.
But they say the title of it in that scene?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
4.
I mean, accident is a terrible event. Notice the location of the accident.
Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive. That's where I was going. Mulholland Drive. Just to see if there was an accident on Mulholland Drive.
It is on Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, that they did hammer in.
Yes, right.
Was there an accident on Mulholland Drive last night? Yes, there was. I feel like I got that one.
Where was the accident? But the accident actual is basically like Diane's heart getting broken. She accidentally went to this party where she got her heart smashed.
5.
Who gives a key and why?
The hitman.
So this person who was interpreting it, he never like gives her the key. He just says you're gonna find the key.
Okay.
And then Betty never touches the blue key in her dream. Only Rita touches it. So the only key that is given and taken is from Aunt Ruth to Betty Coco to Betty.
Oh, okay.
Again, I don't know.
How does that help understand this?
I think it just...
These are the things he wants you to notice.
He just
because
wants you to
took
think
care
about these
to
things.
put them in.
Yeah, I think so.
6.
Notice the robe, the ashtray, the coffee cup. And I do think that those things are important for, like, dream life versus reality.
I mean, I do think it's funny. It's very noticeable that she covers her with a robe and not a blanket when she puts Rita to bed after her concussion.
Yes.
And
Well, I
then-
guess she's already on top of the bed, and it'd be weird to, like...
I feel like there's
She's like, I just want to go to sleep, and Betty's like, you shouldn't go to sleep if you've had a concussion. How come she didn't go to the hospital? But it's a dream, so.
It's a dream.
That's
She said no hospitals, and yeah.
Right.
But it is funny how many times she has already slept.
Right.
The damage is probably done. I mean, she definitely has brain damage in this dream anyway. But then there's also, like, the robe contrast versus, like, their dream robes are so nice, and then in reality, her robe is this, like, gross pink terry cloth thing. Yeah.
The ashtray in reality is like a piano, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there an ashtray in the dream that's different?
The ashtray is important in real life because of the timeline.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because her neighbor, when they switched apartments, that was her ashtray.
Yeah.
So you see the ashtray on her coffee table when she's making out with Camilla, and there's no key. So you see the coffee table with the ashtray, no key, and then later you see the ashtray gone, but the key there.
Wow.
So there's that. Wow.
I keep thinking about, like, how in the dream, Betty is just so wide-eyed and excited about things, and then Rita is, like, helpless, and then, like, in reality, it's just like, oh, it's so crushing
I know,
to
it's
think
a
about,
bummer
like,
when she
the
wakes
dream
up.
versus the reality.
Well, the scene when they're making out is so brutal.
Yeah.
So brutal. It's so different than their love scene in her dream.
What was that you were saying, beautiful?
I said, you drive me wild. I shouldn't do this anymore.
Don't ever say that.
Don't, Diane. Stop it. Diane, stop. I've tried to tell you this before.
Sam, isn't it?
Sucks to be in a toxic relationship with someone who's not into you. Oh, Camilla, why are you so mean? And yeah, even her outfit is so funny. She's wearing, like, the cut-off jeans and the tank top instead of, like,
Yeah.
those, like, the cute little headlays or whatever you call them.
Colorful clothes.
Sweater sets.
Sweater sets. Oh my god, totally. Let's see, what other ashtrays are there? Oh, in the dream, there's an ashtray at Aunt Ruth's house. The cigarette butts have, like, red lipstick on them. In her dream, like, she doesn't smoke, only other people smoke. But in real life, she must smoke a little bit, because why would she need the ashtray otherwise?
Right.
And then the coffee cup thing is that she has a Winkies coffee cup at home. Which is kind of funny. I guess because either she works there or she stole it from Winkies. Or she used to work there. These are funny because they don't
It's
really...
funny because it's like...
It doesn't really help you unlock... I mean, the main thing to unlock is, like, just what's real and what's a dream.
Yeah.
I think you're right that these are all just things he wants you to notice.
Well, and also, I don't know, like, I can't help but think about, like, the experience of Hollywood. I was, like, 22, and I went out with this older man who worked at William Morris Agency, and, like, I really was excited about learning about the movies and what he did and stuff, and it was just so disheartening, like, to hear him talk about movies and talent in the way that he did. And you see in her dream how hopeful she is, and, like, it's exciting, and then the reality of all of it is, it's just, I don't know. That really hit me. Yeah.
And then how he made this amazing movie about that. It's like so extra level meta.
Right.
Yeah.
But people can still make, like, amazing art in this corrupt system.
Right. Yeah.
I love it.
7.
He wants you to notice what is felt, realized, and gathered at the Club Silencio.
Oh, gosh.
Obviously, like, the illusion. She starts to kind of come out of the dream at that point.
And then the song is about, like, I love you, but you don't love me, and I'm crying, and all I want to do is cry.
There's something about Roy Orbison, too. It's just so, I don't know, gut-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, his voice is so, like, beautiful, but it's beautifully sad also.
He has, I think, one of the widest vocal ranges of any, like, rock and roll singer.
Oh, wow.
I think
he's
even
got an
he and
amazing
Freddie Mercury
voice.
are like on the same level of that, but not very many people can do like basically the whole spectrum. It's why it's so hard to sing his songs karaoke. I've tried. They're beautiful songs, and we know that David Lynch loves Roy Orbison songs.
8.
Did talent alone help Camilla? That's another clue.
Oh.
And
not according to
Betty Diane. Yeah. In fact, according to Betty Diane, there was no talent.
Talent had nothing to do with it.
Camilla had no talent.
Right.
She was just beautiful and manipulative.
9.
Notice the occurrences surrounding the man behind the Winkies, who's not a man.
Right, I didn't think that was a man. So that's first of all.
Yes, there's like all kinds of interpretations of that, like that person being someone who is stripped of everything and had dreams once. They have the box back there, the blue box at one like toward the end.
Oh yeah.
And that's where the little people come in. And there's like a piece of meat, like right before the old people come out of like this gross bag from behind the Winkies. It like zooms in on this wrinkled paper bag with the blue box in it and like a piece of meat of some kind, some unidentified chunk of flesh, which is another thing David Lynch loves.
10.
And then where is Aunt Ruth is the final clue. Aunt Ruth's dead. Yeah. Apparently there's an old joke in the movie business that when someone's acting in Canada, it means they're dead.
Oh.
They say, like, Aunt Ruth is in Canada shooting a movie.
Weird.
I had never heard that.
I hadn't
Seems
either.
like David Lynch would like an old Hollywood joke. Oh, and on the back cover of the first release of the Mulholland Drive DVD, he breaks the film down into 3 parts. Act 1, she found herself the perfect mystery. Act 2, a sad illusion. And Act 3, love.
Aw, God, David.
I know. I love she found herself the perfect mystery. That was very funny.
Yeah, that's very funny.
So this is what's called a lunchtime poll.
So, the lunchtime poll is, I guess, tell a story about a way in which a dream impacted your real life. How about that? Does that work
Just
for
tell
everybody?
a crazy story about a dream. I guess.
Tell a crazy story about a dream.
Okay. I don't really ever have any, like, vivid dreams, but I have had dreams where I've woken up and really thought that these things happened. I've definitely had the dream where I find out I'm pregnant, and then I remember, like, waking up feeling terrified. You think it's so real. Oh, I had this recent one where it was, like, it's so silly, but I dreamed that somebody, like, from the college I went to, like, tracked me down, like, the administration, like, to tell me, like, I don't really have a degree. I woke up feeling like, oh, I've been lying about this. Like, my nightmares are about, like, I've made a terrible mistake, or I've lied about something, or I've said something horrible. Like, those are my nightmares. I had like a dream where I woke up thinking like, oh, this could be a really good invention because like there was like a fax machine in my dream, but it was like faxing food. I woke up thinking like that was really cool. That could be I wish that existed.
That's my
just
favorite
like to
kind of ridiculous thing.
like-
when you like dream something, you wake up and you're like, "That's a great idea."
I
And then
know,
You start
I
to think it through, and you're like, "Oh, that's."
I know. I like food fax machine. Fax machine. It was
Basically,
just
like
so.
the same as stoned ideas.
I was like,
I didn't think this through at all.
incredible thoughts.
Well, I was kind of trying to decide between 2. Maybe I'll do both. In high school, I had a dream that I had a crush on my lab partner, which I totally hadn't. Like, before that, there was just, like, this... He wasn't, like, a dick or anything. He was just... But I wasn't attracted to him at all. And then I had a dream that I had, like, a really intense crush on him. And then the next day, in science class, I was like, do I really like this guy? And then I kind of thought I did. And then by the end of class, I was like, no, it was just the dream. But it was really weird. Like, I was so nervous going to school to see him at lab, and I was just like, oh, I think I have a crush on this guy now, and oh, weird. It took me, like, a really long time to realize that it was just my dream fucking with me, basically.
Yeah, I mean, dreams do that, though, like,
Yeah.
because it makes you think, well, maybe there's something in my subconscious trying to, like, come out and tell me. Yeah, I totally have those feelings, too.
And then I had another intense, like, super intense dream a couple years ago that my husband cheated on me and was like, really unapologetic about it, and I woke up like crying.
Oh no.
And then I told him the dream, but then like for the whole rest of the day, like I really felt like he had cheated on me. Like I really felt so hurt all day.
Oh God.
And finally I got over it, but it was just so weird. I was just like, oh, what a betrayal. And it was like not real at all. So strange. What do you got?
So this, I wasn't the person having the dream in this story, but so when I was about 22, me and my friend Andrea went to like her friend. So she had a friend, you know, like when you're young, you have the one friend who is like sort of really an adult, and like so Andrea's friend Susan was like married and had a child, like she was a full adult, you know. She was probably just like 2 years older than us. So we went to her house. We were just like gonna hang out or whatever. And so I'm like 22, so I'm like all like Hot Topic, Contempo Casuals, gothy, and I have all these like fake silver rings, right? Mm-hmm. And one of them had here. I tried to draw the little symbol. It kind of was like a yin and yang, but it sort of more looks like people.
Yeah,
right?
Neat.
Okay, so I have a ring on my hand that looks like that, and Susan's husband, Brad, he was like, can I see your ring? And I showed him, and he looks up, and he has, like, this face like he saw a ghost, like his jaw's on the floor, and I'm like, what? And he, like, points behind him, and in the next room, on the wall behind him, is, like, a huge painting of that exact symbol.
Whoa.
Right?
Whoa.
It gets so much weirder than that, right? So, you know, and that's why I was just like, oh, weird, you know? And then he's like, no, let me tell you. He said, he's like, I had a very, very upsetting dream where like a very bad man gave me something, like he made me take it, and that's what it was. It was like this thing with this symbol on it. And he's like, I was so messed up over this, I was so haunted by it. And then it was some story about how he had been spending time with some like Native American tribe or something, like in a sweat lodge or so. I remember that a sweat lodge had something to do with this story. And like he went to them, he was so troubled by this dream, and they were like, you need to take control of it and not let it control you. So that's what they told him to do, was like, you know, paint it and put it on your wall.
This would look nice on your wall.
So he tells me all that, and then he's like, and the person in the dream who gave it to me was Charles Manson.
Whoa.
Wow.
Did that taint the ring a little bit
No,
for
not at
you?
all.
Or were you just like, okay? Or...
I mean, I was just like, what a weird story.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember thinking it was like really weird.
It is.
Yeah, it was really
That is...
Like, I mean, is that a known symbol?
I don't know. I was trying to look it up. It's basically like a yin-yang except jagged instead of curved. So I did a half-hearted Google search trying to find, is there a name for that? And I couldn't find an image that looked like that. I just found like things that were yin and yang but looked a little more like people but not jagged like that. So, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Kind of reminds me of like a locket or something.
Or like a friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take one of them.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably like from Claire's or something, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like...
Now my heart belongs to you. Wow, I love it. That's great. And it's funny that he painted it.
And it was huge.
Like he's like painting it to make it not scare him. I mean, just
Yeah,
kind of like the
he
diner
was so
guy.
haunted by it, and they were like, this is how you can free yourself or something.
Did it work?
I don't know. I mean, I probably never saw that guy again, or just once or twice. You know, this was like friend of a friend person.
Okay.
I don't know. I've told you everything I know. Well, the other funny thing about that, before that happened, was I didn't know this until just as I went to sit down on their couch. Susan goes, Amy, get off of that. And I'm like, what? And they had a dog named Amy. Like, who names their dog Amy? But
oh my God.
It's very bad time.
Very funny.
Wow.
Like, I don't know what's going on in this place.
You're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, what? What did I do?
I'll sit on the floor.
Right.
Greetings and salutations.
I guess the only thing left to do is shout outs.
All right.
And I was hoping we'd have some listeners from Montana. David Lynch is from Spokane, but also Missoula, Montana.
Oh.
He calls both places home. And of course, he lived in Philadelphia for a while. He'd rather be anywhere else but Philadelphia. Right. Hello, Montana.
Montana.
Maybe someday you'll listen to our podcast.
Is that why there's a character named Montana in Invitation to Love?
Oh, maybe. And why Maddie Ferguson is from Missoula, Montana.
Oh. Twin Peaks stuff.
Oh.
We've been deep diving in Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been to Montana?
I want
Yes.
to. I've never been.
I drove from Seattle to Boston in 2002. Stayed the night at the Come On Inn in Missoula, Montana. And then after driving in the morning, we drove from there to Helena. And what I do remember is we stopped for coffee, and the barista looked so much like Crispin Glover.
Oh, wow. Fun. Did he talk like Crispin Glover, too?
I don't remember that specifically, but I do remember that we left and we were both like, okay, I didn't know that's what Crispin Glover was doing.
For a role.
Yeah.
He's just playing a regular old barista in Montana.
Barista.
That's funny. I remember when I was a kid, we took a train to Bozeman from Portland. And I remember it being super fun, and my dad recently told me that he remembers it as like the most fraught family vacation of all time. Because apparently, like, the train broke down for a long time at one point, and I didn't remember this happening. I just remembered, like, partying with the other kids on the train, and he said that they, like, basically ran out of food, and
oh my god,
the bathrooms got all stopped up, and, like, I don't remember any of that. I just remember being like, this is the fun of the train.
So funny.
It ended up adding, like, 12 hours to the trip or something.
Ugh.
Yeah. I'd like to check out Missoula sometime. I've heard it's cool.
Yeah, I've heard it's cool. I really just spent the night there.
On the next episode of Paid in Puke, we're talking about a movie that won't be ignored. Adrian Lyne's 1987 thriller, Fatal Attraction, starring Glenn Close and Ann Archer. If you enjoyed this episode of Paid in Puke, please take a minute to rate us highly on your preferred podcast listening apparatus. If you did not enjoy this episode, no further action is necessary. Paid in Puke is hosted by Annie Malone, Christina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. Music by Silent Partner. Follow us on Twitter @PaidInPukePod, on Instagram @PaidInPukeSeattle, and on Facebook @PaidInPukePodcast. Thanks for listening.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it up.